Welcome to Daikaiju Network, where we have a healthy obsession with kaiju. I am your co-host Kent, and with me is your other co-host.
Jason, how's it going, peeps?
So before we get started here, I just want to say the air quality uh, in my area, and then in the Wisconsin state that I was in here this last week was really poor for a while. So I have cold-like symptoms from all that air pollution from those Canadian wildfires. So I'm gonna try and mute myself wherever possible. If I'm gonna sniffle or cough, definitely blow my nose. So if I sound off or accidentally, sniffle or cough during the course of this episode,
Mhm.
that's what that is from. And I apologize in advance for that. But we are here today, continuing our Jurassic Park, Jurassic World commentary series that we had started back. What was it in April or May of last year? Um,
Is something along that lines? Because the last I
it's been
I
like a
looked in
few
our
months since we
I
started.
looked in our YouTube channel and it said at least a year ago, so somewhere
Yeah.
around that vicinity.
Yeah. So we're continuing that today with the fourth installment in the series and the first of the brand new trilogy, if you want to call that Jurassic World from 2015. But before we continue with that, Jason, you want to do any housekeeping here?
Yeah, just kind of the usual thing. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you see a subscribe button down below, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as smash the like button as well. And as far as finding us everywhere, you can find us all in one place at our Linktree page right on your screen there /Daikaiju Network. And besides YouTube being one of the video platforms that we're also on Twitch, Rumble, Facebook, and as well as Odyssey, and as well as we have audio versions of our episodes uh, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, as well as TuneIn. And you can find both video and audio versions at our own website at daikaijunetwork.com. I think you got yourself muted.
So, as we usually do with these commentaries, we're going to start with kind of our own personal opinions and history with the movie in question. So for me personally, Jurassic World is one, if not my favorite, of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World series thus far. I really enjoy this movie an awful lot. I think if it's, I think it's if it's not the best, it's second best. When we get to Fallen Kingdom, I have a lot about that movie that I really enjoy too. I think that movie is incredibly underrated and underappreciated by a lot of people who have seen it over the years. But Jurassic World, I think, is a fantastic film. I love this an awful lot. This has been something I've been looking forward to since whenever we last did Jurassic Park 3, whenever that was. And I've been anxious to kind of get into this. I have to say, kind of right off the bat, since we are getting into the Jurassic World trilogy, something I'm about to say here in the next second may be a little controversial, but I truly believe the Jurassic World trilogy is better than the Jurassic Park trilogy. And I think part of that, yeah, is the fact that the Jurassic Park trilogy is older. In some ways, it's shown its age with time. It's not really the movie's fault. But I do think Jurassic World is a trilogy that really decided to take a little bit more risks with its story and other aspects. Whereas the Jurassic Park trilogy, I thought, was more or less playing it safe. That there wasn't a ton of brand new ideas or themes that played throughout that three movie trilogy. And I think Jurassic World, even though I think a lot of people I think are overly harsh on Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, I think this trilogy should be hailed because it really took more risks and decided to try to swing for the fences than the original trilogy, where it tried to stay a little bit more compact, if that makes sense, within its story. It didn't try to venture out too far and explore different ideas and themes. So, for me personally, I love this movie. I'm really looking forward to watching and discussing it.
Yeah, that's kind of sort of the same mentality that I was literally thinking about. Is that when it came to the first three, it just seemed to be a little bit more contained. Uh, for most of its movies, where everything's kind of based on one island. There, although with the second one, it tried to venture out a little bit there with transporting the dinosaurs and stuff from that main island from the island where they were at to San Diego and all that. So that's kind of the only thing where they sort of spread out for that first trilogy there. Whereas this one, like what you said with Jurassic World, they try to venture out more instead of just being on one particular island for all three of them. Where basically, like with this one, you still kind of started out with kind of the island, but then it started like towards the end. It kind of indicated things were going to be venturing out a bit more, and you kind of see that as you watch the other two in that aspect.
Yeah, what happens here with this movie is sort of what they should have been starting with, if not movie two, definitely by movie three. And instead they're doing it at movie four. So as far as I'm concerned, they're a tad late on all that. And like I said, they just were kind of playing it safe with that original trilogy, I think. But unless there's something else you want to add, we can get started here.
There's really not much to add for me because I mean, right now, thought I'd let you know that I'm at the 2 second mark
Yeah, I just hit
of
play.
mine.
It's going through like the anti-piracy thing here. I'm trying to get mine
Yeah,
queued
I'm
up
just kind of where
appropriately
the
too.
Universal logo is kind of, or I should say, the Earth is kind of peeking out.
Okay, there. So Jason's rented this via Amazon, and I'm watching the DVD version just because with my setup, the DVD version, I get a better
Yeah,
sound
yeah, and
quality.
I was just telling them here before we started that it was a good thing that we started to commentate the movie on this day because the Amazon uh, is having this $2 off rental wise, so pretty
Oh
much got it
boy.
for a buck 50.
$2, two whole dollars. What are you gonna buy yourself a nice candy bar after we're done here?
Yes.
Okay, well, makes sense, I guess. Gosh, I'm sniffling, not muting myself. Again, I apologize in advance. Okay, so like Jason said, he's at about the 2 second mark. I'm roughly at that point as well. So for those of you who have not joined us in the past for commentaries, I count down from three. I go three, two, one, go. When I say go, that's when you hit the play or the select button on your player, whatever it is you're using to watch the movie on. So if you're ready, Jason, I'm ready to go.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, so on the count of go, we hit play. Three, two, one, go.
All right, and then switch the camera over to commentary cam so you wouldn't see our ugly faces for the next couple hours.
And so my son Lincoln is going to be joining us. Close that door, please. I'm trying to keep it as quiet as possible. I remember one of the things that I loved about this movie, when we talk about the 98 movie, one of the things we always talk about is the advertising and all that took place at that time. I remember with Jurassic World, a lot of the trailers made it come off as a horror film, and
Hmm.
that was something that I really enjoyed, and it had me really hyped. I'm like, oh wow, like we're getting something that's maybe a little bit more brutal, and in a certain respect, it is a bit more of a brutal movie than what we had seen previously,
Yeah,
and that's something I really enjoy about this film too. Is that from a tonal standpoint, it went a little bit darker.
yeah, and I think with this one here, if I can remember correctly, wasn't this the one where we went to see together when I was at your guys' place, or was that Fallen
That was
Kingdom?
Fallen
Okay,
Kingdom.
I was thinking it was either one of the two.
They mention when they go see the Indominus for the first time, when we get to see it in this movie, that this particular Indominus killed the other one. Indominus. So, what do you think of this movie, Lincoln? Like, what do you think of Jurassic World? He's seen it too many times and it's too good.
Just like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I
Do they
remember.
even still make those viewfinder things?
I'm not sure, but those are pretty cool. I remember. I think we had. I know we had one of those, and I think we
The old
had
school one, yeah.
a few like of the Disney, and then some of the other. Was it Hansel and Gretel type of
Oh, yeah.
things?
The lady who plays their mother, you see her in an awful lot of bit roles. I don't know what the actress's name is, but she's a familiar face. This guy kind of is too, the dad.
Yeah, I know the that guy, the one who plays as the dad here. He was kind of he played as this one boss in the office for
Ah, yeah.
like one of the regions for Dunder Mifflin. Yeah,
It
just let your kids go by themselves on a plane traveling.
Well, apparently this is supposed to be a one-way trip, so like there aren't stops along the way. I mean, this kid is supposed to be what, 15, 16, something like that. I mean, relatively old enough, I guess.
Yeah,
From a statistical standpoint, the world is technically safer than when you and I were kids. And you and I used to walk to school 9 blocks when, like, you were in kindergarten and I was like in second grade. Hell, I think I was even walking to school when I was in kindergarten. My kids actually have a significantly shorter walk, and I'm like, oh dear God, like, that's good. My kids literally just walk like down the street, like half a block.
well, now, well, yeah, and I can still remember just walking to school.
You did that when I was in kindergarten. Like, you weren't even in preschool yet, I don't think. And you abandoned mom, and mom was freaking out, and it was thunderstorming. And there you were in the hallway. The teachers had towels drying you off. You're like, I can't. Like, I'm like, what are you doing here? Where's mom? Pretty neat little boat.
I wonder how long of a travel to that. Like,
We are traveling to one of the Cinco de Muertas, the five deaths. Technically, we're just going back to Isla Nublar. And when it comes to the Jurassic World Park movies, it's just two islands, Nublar and Sorna.
yeah, like when it comes to like, even though that these are fake islands and stuff, like as far as travel wise from the mainland to this, with them on a boat, like wonder how far that they had to travel by boat.
And see, one of the things too, I had talked about how the ideas within this movie, creating like a hybrid dinosaur, should have come no later than the third installment of the series. One of the things that should have happened within one of the first three movies too was to see a park that was operational. And once again, that was delayed until the fourth movie. So one of the things I love about this film too is we get it's not a whole lot of a glimpse, but it's enough of a glimpse to see a working Jurassic Park slash world
Mm-hmm.
uh, park. Park. I wonder how many times we're going to say park in this
Yeah.
thing.
It's like a Disney World that's totally separate. The way it looks.
I'd rather go see this than Disney World.
Well, I wouldn't want to go to Disney World anyways because of how freaking expensive that's gotten.
Well, not only that, it's just freaking crazy. All the people.
I'd rather just go to Universal Studios Park.
It's crazy that this movie is 8 years old now. That's a little crazy, I think.
What?
No one's impressed by a dinosaur anymore. It's like, I don't know.
Well, don't you see all these people here? Are you plugged?
Well, I could see, yes, like if you get enough people. First and foremost, it's got to be expensive as heck to go visit this thing.
Oh,
Second of all,
probably.
if you get enough of the people, at least in first world countries, who come and see this stuff enough, then yeah, over time I could understand people. But I would think that would take decades in order for that to happen. And
Hmm.
it would be news stories. Like you'd get paleontologists and news people from all across the world wanting to come and see this stuff and cover it.
Yeah.
We never did get all the genes because I remember the Jurassic World website at the time was kind of teasing as far as the different animals that the Indominus had in terms of its gene pool. And I thought eventually we were going to get that revealed to us, all the different animals that created this animal. And we never did, which on some level I think is kind of neat because it's still an enigma. But I was under the impression we were eventually going to find out.
Hmm. It would have been nice to see some of the actual places when I was at Hawaii about a month and a half ago, but just didn't quite have the time nor the money to do it.
Yeah,
So
I was
maybe,
gonna ask at one point if you were gonna see some of like the Jurassic Park like shooting locations.
yeah, it's I forget the name of the ranch, but it's kind of where a lot of movies have filmed locations, including Jurassic Park World, Kong Skull Island, and the '98 Godzilla, and I think a few other places too. But yeah, I think it was like around 150 so bucks for the thing. And I was like, as much as I want to do it, but I think like just have to arrange the time and also the money to do it. And I was like, yeah, I'll maybe wait till next time I go back there, whenever that is.
Yeah, I don't trust the secretary. She looks aloof.
It's like one of those typical babysitter trope things.
Yeah, she's
Like,
a type character, as they say.
yeah, like on her cell phone, watching TV, talking to her boyfriend, like, oh my god,
Like Shelley, like Jays, like why, like Mr. Goodbar.
OMG, LOL.
LOL, wink and poop emoji.
Just seeing that map kind of reminds me of the old Jurassic Park board game.
Yeah, I remember that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I think we got rid of that some years back, I believe.
Yeah, we were missing some pieces anyway. I think this actor, I think it's Jake Johnson is his name.
I don't
He
know.
is one of the main characters in New Girl, and he's done voice work as well. He's actually the voice of the main Peter Parker slash Spider Man character in the two Spider Verse animated films.
Gotcha. What the heck? It's like for some reason the X-ray thing on Amazon just popped up for no reason and just came up with this Jake Johnson guy.
Oh, is it like a behind the scenes info panel thing?
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to Lincoln.
Mm. He stole your figures.
You still gonna drink that?
Yeah. Even if it's filled with poo.
From a distance, the other buildings look like they're covered in moss. One of the things I would love to that I wish this movie, if not even the subsequent movies, would have done is done a little bit more background work on this Maserati to kind of connect the pieces from the previous generation to this. Like, how did he acquire the genes and the DNA and all that stuff to get this thing going?
They might have in some sort of aspect, but as far as the final cutting room and stuff, they probably left some of that stuff out. You ain't dead yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some lip service done there, but it's not enough.
Mm.
How small we are. Couldn't some pictures of how big our galaxy is, and then you have this little speck called the Earth show up, and you see how vast?
And then think about the like a cluster of bunch of galaxies.
Yeah. That eventually will happen.
Yeah, I think if I remember it, I think this is still one of the sets at this one ranch on Hawaii that's still there.
That's just funny. You have this big concrete enclosure with nothing in it, and you're just leaving it there. Part of me would be like, well, yeah, it's a movie prop, but it's like, it's not serving any purpose, though.
I think it's either that or the maybe I don't know if it's the same one that uh, Chris Pratt's character is in when we see him doing the kind of the whole raptor uh, type of thing. That's going to be coming up here in a bit.
The raptor training and stuff.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I love the Indominus. spectacular dinosaur. Not even fully grown with this movie. Imagine how colossal this thing would have gotten. Yeah. Well, you're looking for something different. You're not looking for trees or something that looks like a tree.
It would have been
See,
nice.
talked about the other Indominus.
It would have been nice with this Indominus one that it would have been great if they had this one for Dominion.
Yeah. Well, you know what I would have. I mean, we'll eventually get to Dominion, so I don't really want to dwell on that too much. But like, Spinosaurus was originally part of Fallen Kingdom, and then there was originally rough story ideas initially with Dominion that maybe Spino may return for Dominion. But I would have loved to have had more Giganotosaurus and T Rex action in Dominion than what we got. But
Hmm.
I still think Dominion is a significantly better movie than people give it credit for. When we get to that, we'll have to figure out, do we want to do the theatrical one or the extended cut?
Yeah, we'll wait and see when that time comes.
And nothing happened to the pig.
Like every time I see this guy, I think like kind of the Two Face type of
Vincent D'Onofrio.
typecast. Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
does pretty good at being like kind of those Two Face typecasts.
oh yeah, he's definitely a big jerk.
Yeah,
He plays King. He played Kingpin, and I think it was the Daredevil series that was on Netflix. I think it was.
yeah, yeah.
It's grown up time. Let's train these things to go kill people. Like kill, 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 murder, murder, murder.
When I hear that, I think of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger theme coming into play.
The Go Go Power Ranger.
Yep. The original.
Go Go Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. How about instead of focusing on war, you focus on dieting? idea. Oh, I guess something did happen to the pig. Never mind.
I like to know why that cage for where the pig came out of, why that got up for some
Yeah,
reason.
but you're probably not supposed to ask that.
Plot hole.
I just roll with it.
I ain't rolling with it.
We went to Binder Park Zoo, which is in what is it, like Battle Creek, and this was like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And they
Mm.
had this little dinosaur section, and they built this little area where it has a frame and it has three raptors, and you can go in there and reenact
Yeah.
Chris Pratt in this scene. So Lincoln and I did. We were like, it does remind me of Hershey. Like, turn your back on Hershey. Flips you off.
I don't give a damn.
That's Hershey's attitude.
Yeah.
I would have called that kid peanut butter.
Kind of reminds me of some of the kids in the Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory.
I still have yet to see any of those movies.
I've only seen bits and parts of them. Gonna give him a wedgie.
That'd be funny if he did, and like the little brother screams where like everyone looks, and we have that awkward moment where everyone's judging the older brother.
Yeah. Get
Probably
over
for
here! I'm
good.
so hyped up.
I do believe that younger brother is on the spectrum
Yeah.
because of thing. No, I'm serious. Like I'm not trying to make fun of him or anything. Like you see him like when his mother comes into his room and talks to him and all that, and you see him in these other scenes, and then at the end with the dino fight, he's counting like teeth, like we need more teeth and all that. Like, oh, Karen. If I didn't know any better.
Yeah. You know, the one thing when they went into that T Rex kingdom and they had everything built in this huge kind of tree like trunk with the windows and all that. I
Yeah.
wonder if any of that is really thick and secure to where if the T Rex sees all those people and tries to ram at that, if any of that would be strong enough.
I would assume it would be because, you wouldn't want a repeat of what happened earlier in the series and all that.
Even though it kind
Um,
of does later on.
because again, the probably the whole tagline for this series is the John Hammond spare no expense sort of thing. So I'm sure a lot of money was probably spent to make that safe and secure.
Yeah. Well, I'm just seeing the way how this park looks compared to the first iteration back in the actual, the first park.
I mean, I know we didn't see a whole lot of that first part, but what little we did see, I'm just going to come out and say it. The Jurassic World layout is so much more uh, patron friendlier than the original Jurassic Park because it seemed like with the original Jurassic Park, you were just in those Jeeps for
Hmm.
a while,
That.
driving around, and you were looking through pens. Whereas this one, you have like that fake tree trunk where you can get maybe a little bit closer and get a little bit more personal experience and exposure. Like there was no sign of even a baby dino petting zoo,
Hmm.
even in that one, and it just the let's face it, the layout of that first park actually sucked.
Yeah, it was
It was awful.
like what you said. Was you're pretty much in those jeeps, and then you go to that main section where it was kind of small in that regard. And two,
Yeah,
you don't even get to know the size of that first park iteration, whereas this one it just seems more expanse
yeah.
and kind of know the layout of it.
I think this movie too does a slightly better job of expanding upon some of the talking points that the first movie tried to make because the first movie about halfway through, and we had discussed this when we covered that one last year, but that movie about halfway through just drops a lot of its philosophical musings and all that, whereas this one sort of continues that almost throughout. And it even actually continues throughout this whole trilogy, honestly.
Hmm.
But and again, I discussed this last year. I do like that first movie. Do not get me wrong; it is a once in a generation type of film, but even that I don't think has aged well. I don't look at Jurassic. Even when I saw it in '93, while I was impressed with how the dinosaurs looked and moved, I wasn't as, and I was and still am a huge dino fan. But even I was like disappointed. I'm like, there's not as much dino action here, and the T Rex scene was cool. The Velociraptor stuff I thought was okay,
Hmm.
but in a lot of respects, that movie I don't quite understand the enormous head over heels love affair that people have. I think Jurassic World trilogy ends up fulfilling a lot of that stuff better than even that movie did.
Hmm.
Oh, now you don't have working cell phones. I hope they have big bed of rice outside.
Hope he had some a little insurance on that.
In real life, people would not be cheering that. People would be pissed because their cell phones are wet and ruined.
Although you had some up front here with little raincoat jackets or ponchos. Oh, look, product placement. Good old product placement.
I'm okay with it. There's some movies where it's so blatantly awfully placed that you're just kind of roll your eyes, but otherwise I'm just like, whatever. It makes it look more real world. I mean, the Jurassic World park would have a Starbucks in it, right?
That and Coca Cola and
Yeah,
Mercedes
why not?
Benz.
Hello. Have you come to watch Jurassic World?
Who's that? Remmers?
It was Hope.
Oh,
They have all these different farm animals that they feed some of these predators. Just just to tickle my fancy, it would be great to see like an actual livestock farm on the island because you got to raise these animals, right? You would almost have to.
you're
You can't just
diving.
keep bringing them
You're
in.
just diving in a little bit too much here.
I know, but see, I love this world. I love this series. This is one of my favorite movie franchises. Like, it's the finer details that I get off on.
You know what? Just take a time out for a few minutes.
I can't. I'm in love with this. Gadzooks.
Great Scott! Oh
I
yeah,
left
just
it
like
there because that's
soft
loud.
tapping the window is gonna do anything.
No, that glass is so thick that you tap on it. It's so dull. Like you could have a fly sitting on the spot where you tapped it, and the fly wouldn't even register that you tapped it. And the fly would be like, "What?" Clever girl, as Muldoon would say in the first movie.
Hey, what?
Looks like the WWE logo.
The Attitude Era.
Hey, I used to have that smartphone.
Did you?
The Claire. That was my first smartphone. It was a Galaxy 15? I forget. It was like Galaxy 15 or something like that. An out of shape guy, when you have them in a movie like this, they're fodder.
That and then them sitting eating a sandwich,
Yep.
looking at the monitor.
How did you not like think about it for a moment, realizing that you gave this thing the ability to camouflage and not think, oh, the thing is camouflage in its surroundings? Like before we send people in there, why not
Well,
find a
they
tracker?
well on the monitor in the previous scene that they had these thermal signature
Right,
things
I
to
get that,
detect
but
it.
then I would then go to like the main head office like they just did here. I would double check before I sent anybody in there. I would maybe even triple check by like even if that didn't work, like shoot a flare in there, see if it bounced off anything or if it illuminates a shadow or whatever. Yeah, like you throw a goat in there, see if it disappears magically. People are dying. Poop is about to hit the fan.
It already has.
Houston, we have a problem. See, if I'm that guy, I'd be going around to the other side of the truck. I don't care. Like, I wouldn't just hope that the thing didn't see you.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it was coming. There was no way he was going to outrun it. Like, in that moment, you definitely know you've had it. He doesn't outrun it. He puts, was it antifreeze, I think that is, on himself?
Not entirely sure. Could be.
It's either motor oil or antifreeze.
Because I think they mentioned that it detects some kind of heat or something. So it could
Yeah,
be
which is why I've
antifreeze.
always thought it was antifreeze. Yeah. I do like the blood and meat chunk details.
Good for you.
I do like the fact that this movie is played off a bit more like a horror movie. Because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the trailers really marketed it as such.
With the Dominus Rex, how it kind of detects heat and everything. So it reminds me of the Tremors, like what you were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
there you go. Another, like, maybe crossover. Indominus versus Tremors.
Yeah.
Hell, throw in the Indoraptor, because the Indoraptor is the same thing, just in raptor form. Did he say eventually we'll get it? Is that what he said?
I have no idea. I wasn't
It's
quite
like,
paying
wait a
attention.
minute. Like, you didn't, before you started building this whole thing, take into consideration different safety measures, assuming that at some point a dinosaur was going to escape.
But I
That's
wouldn't
what I
be a
would
bit
do.
surprised if that was the case.
I mean, if I were doing it personally, I'd be like, we need to think of different things, like maybe multi layered sections for a cage. Like if it gets through one, oh well, we can close another door.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, or you have other security measures like electrical invisible just something like you would sit down and think this thing through before you went forward and started cloning these things and building the actual park.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad this guy gets it at the end, because I'm such an animal lover that this guy doesn't care. And I think too we get a blood splatter from him too, which just makes it all the better because you're just like, all right, this guy's getting gored.
Well, you got like a couple of these raptors, the way how they react towards him.
Yeah,
It's like I can smell your bullshit here.
their BS detector is off the hook.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, considering how big this guy is, I'm sure he's leaking gas every second. All that Kentucky Fried Chicken or something he's probably consuming.
All that Taco Bell.
There you go, even better.
Oh, it takes me back to those days.
I bet bet if you put a saddle on one of those, they'd be fun to ride.
Hee-haw! I'm a cowboy now.
Dino Ranch.
Okay, Frodo.
You know what? He does look like a hobbit.
Like a mixture of Frodo and Sam together.
Yeah. When did Lord of the Rings? You know what? Isn't Lord of the Rings Universal?
No, no, it's
Oh, New
Warner
Line.
Brothers.
Yeah. New Line, which is owned by Warner.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, like, because they keep talking about Fast and Furious meets Jurassic World. It's like, no, give me Lord of the Rings meets Jurassic World.
Or Godzilla meets Jurassic World.
Well, yeah, Legendary at least was a part of this first movie. I don't know if they were a part of the sequels, though, which is interesting.
They might have.
Because I don't recall seeing the Legendary. I mean, granted, it's.
That and Pacific Rim meets Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's not much of a fight, sadly. Unless you made the dinos like a lot bigger. You bring in the ooze from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and
or if you like for whatever reason make brontosauruses and brachiosaurus like those kinds of creatures,
yeah.
like the vicious ones.
Oh, you know what? Dino Riders.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Or Zoids.
Oh, dude, we could have like 5 crossovers in one here. No,
Yeah.
you and I are trademarking this right now. No one's gonna steal this idea. Like we got something like incredible going here.
Yeah.
I like what we're doing here. This collaboration is working. You know what? I'm gonna use one of those words. The synergy is amazing. A buzzword.
Hey, Transformers. I mean, you already have like the dinosaur type of stuff with Transformers and Beast
Beast
Wars and all
Wars.
that, so it would totally make sense.
Have you seen the new Transformers yet?
I have not yet,
I haven't either.
but I know it's still in theaters at my town, even though that's been around longer than the Flash. But they took Flash out of theaters here the other day, and
Really?
I was wanting to see that, but it's like, damn it.
I want to see the Flash and the new Transformers, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that. Because since we're not going to G Fest this year, the kids and I are gonna do our own G Fest at home this next week. Watch different shows and films.
I bet.
I hope. You want to see Indominus take all these people out? If you want to go see the Meg 2 in theaters, you have to watch something like this. And then he throws him down, and then whoops, steps on him. Yeah, that's an incredibly effective weapon. You got to get in that close against a predator that large.
You would think they would have maybe made some like mechs to deal with things like this.
Yeah, mechs are just other distance type of weaponry, other than for all of these guys to have to get into very close to moderately close range,
Mm-hmm.
because this is just terrible security.
Yeah.
And your rifles are not that high powered. Maserati make a wonderful part, but you suck at security. No, they're saying that the dinosaur itself doesn't know where it fits in. They know where it fits in, but the dinosaur itself doesn't.
Yeah.
Because that's just how the camera shows things.
Dun dun dun. The way he exits out.
Live count. What a phrase to use. We have this many living people. Now the dead people.
I like to know how they can track of how many people enter. Is there some kind of thing when
There's
they enter onto the park that there's some kind of meter or something of the sort?
Well, Claire earlier when the boys showed up and she saw them for the first time here, she said something about them wearing wristbands, and I don't know if the wristbands have any tech in them or what.
If I see someone looking at me like that, I'd be like, fucking creeper.
But see, isn't he like in some ways like not really cheating, but close to cheating on his girl at home?
Maybe.
Like, hey, baby. I've seen this guy in a few shows and stuff. He always plays the same type of character.
Yeah.
I'd be making calls out to all those other gyrospheres, like, you got to make it back, or
Yeah. For me, that would be the number one priority instead of just informing those that are behind you there.
yeah, I would quickly say, sorry, folks, ride's closed. I'll explain in a second, and then make a quick call to everyone who was out in the field, like, you got to get back ASAP.
Yeah. I like how everything in this room is kind of golden, even the wood, the drinks.
There you go. Cuttlefish jeans.
It's like he's drinking piss.
Maybe he's drinking liquid amber. And, like,
I was kind of thinking
inside
of
of
that
whatever
because it's
it
literally the
is.
same color as amber.
Yeah. And, like, he's some sort of genetic hybrid now himself. Like, maybe he's been injecting himself with some weird concoction he's been making in the lab.
Maybe that concoction is the drink there that he's actually drinking.
It's amazing though how this character was so benign in the first Jurassic Park movie, and now he's like almost overnight become villainous, and then he
Mm-hmm.
becomes very benign again by Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they mowed that lawn.
You mowed the lawn.
I don't find Fallon funny at all. I don't understand the appeal of him.
Yeah.
Then that would be funny. Like a Triceratops comes and pales him, and then he goes,
God.
and then the big brother laughs.
Yeah.
He's like, ha 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 ha. It's interesting too. Like we have 6 movies, and we've never had a T-Rex versus Triceratops fight.
Mm-hmm. And see, now it says ride closed on there when.
It was like 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Indominus like fight some of these dinosaurs, like a Stegosaur or Triceratops. I
Mm-hmm.
know we get an Ankylosaur fight, but do you think in some way, shape, or form, and I don't think the filmmakers were necessarily thinking about this, like the story of Frankenstein,
Huh?
bringing something back from the dead and making it from parts of other things?
I don't know.
That'd be funny if he goes, "No, I got eaten." What?
Mm.
Just kidding. Of course. For all the money on that island, there's not good cell service.
Yeah.
Didn't they say they can control all those gyrospheres from there?
I
That's
don't
what I
know.
would have it programmed. I would have it programmed to where there's an override control and you can bring all those gyrospheres
Well, that's what I would
like
think
back.
too, if that was the case. And then you have this, like, widely open.
Well, it got busted, you can see there.
Well, yeah. But then it's like, why aren't the other dinosaurs going through?
Well, the thing is it's busted from the inside,
Yeah.
which is strange because I would think it should be busted from the outside.
Well, and then too, like like I was trying to say earlier, that you would think some of the other dinosaurs would have escaped from
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
But
eventually they will, but
yeah.
because by obviously Fallen Kingdom, they're all loose.
I would like to know why that hasn't even been fixed.
Well, that just recently happened. That I think is supposed to be from the Indominus, but like I was saying, that's so weird because that should have been broken from the outside instead of the inside. Because
Hmm.
if the Indominus was inside with all those other dinosaurs, you would think it would be going after all those other dinos.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Good acting by the kids, I will say that.
Yeah.
Jeez. I always feel bad for that ankylosaur. You know, this thing is something though when it can actually turn over an ankylosaur and still kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's like it didn't take much force to go through that.
It didn't break its nail either. This reminds me of the scene of the Spinosaur chasing people in part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely very good at thrills and suspense. Even though I've seen this movie many times, it still is like, oh!
More Mercedes Benz.
Oh yeah, this part up here definitely very well done in terms of emotion.
Boy, that's quite the short rifle
Yeah,
barrel. Jeez. Whole
Made
dead
quick work
field.
out of them.
Like you would think with the Dominus Rex, you'd just kill one just for food and all that, but not really for sport.
I forgot he took the pistol and shot her.
Or just
He
just
just
knocked her
like
out. Or just knocked her out with the
he
butt of
like
the gun.
he says something awful,
It's like,
then like
shut up,
picks her
bitch.
picks her up over his shoulder and like has to drag her back.
Shut up. What are you trying to tell me here?
Dangerous.
Insert 65 here.
I was just thinking of 65. We should cover that at some point too. I need to put that on the list actually.
One of these days.
Oh, playing on nostalgia.
Oh boy.
No, these are commentaries we have left. I'm just adding 65 to the list. No, till whenever. Whenever we get around to it. Till we're 65 million years old. We're going to be doing this. Going to be the Guinness World Record holder. In fact, we'll probably outlive Guinness. I have no idea, but I'm just messing around. Wonder if that's from one of the Raptors from part one.
I don't know, but you still got that flyer there.
That's the thing. So many movies, um, harken back to films that were made decades earlier, which on some levels kind of cool, but it happens so much that it loses some of the charm after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Barbasol can. See, you remember that. That would be funny if they found like Wayne Knight hiding out. Like he actually didn't die, he somehow lived, but had been severely injured, and he's been living off of some of the canned rations and all that. Like, hey kids, what you doing?
with a
Need
with
anything from
a
the vending machine or something?
with a beard and crazy curly long hair.
And you realize like he's developed some of his own weapons for survival, and he like has lost half of his body weight, and he is sort of Rambo-ish. Like he ends up becoming the hero of the movie. And then the trajectory of this Jurassic World trilogy changes dramatically
Hmm.
because Wayne Knight survived. Dude, I love this collaboration. We were coming up with some awesome ideas here. Because, like the rule says, until you see a body, they're not actually dead. That's part of the whole seeing the body thing.
You think? Let's get
I
serious.
want my own gun. I want the minigun. I'm gonna fly it. I'm gonna pull a Rambo 2.
Where I'm going, we don't need roads.
I don't care. He's watching videos. Please close the door. Go. I mean, I'm fine if mom's okay with it. You gotta ask mom. They completely shut the door on me before I finish my sentence. They just want to hear the one part and then leave. And here I thought Lincoln was going to stay with us for the whole commentary.
Guess not. Although I really can't see from my end what's going on.
It doesn't matter anyway. can't see me?
Well, from my end, through the Streamlab thing, I've only got of what's showing on like YouTube and all that stuff right now.
So you can't see what I'm doing right now.
Nope.
Oh, good.
Good, because I didn't want to see what's going on.
I'm naked right now.
Ew.
Once it got that close, I would be making a run for it because I would assume the thing smells me and I would just run.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that happens, that's when boom, crash.
It always happens. Me, I'm the one that's flying it.
Like, what?
Trying to, just the way that you're flying, though. Boy, you're bad at
Use
aiming.
guns in the movies. It didn't work against Predator and it's not working against the Indominus. That's not exactly how it works, dude. I mean, what an idiot. Almost sounds like a transformer transforming.
Yeah.
You're a little late for that, sister.
The apocalypse begins.
It'd be funny if it didn't work and the Jeep like bounced back and then they're like blood on their face. They're like, oh.
Like, that was a dumbass move. Mm.
Wait a minute. I thought that windshield was broken. You're finally making yourself useful.
Mm. Funny if he like really revs it up and then the TV just goes up and then rolls over.
He didn't hold down enough on the brake. He's just like, click, and then it hits someone and it smashes them between the ATV and the wall. So stupid. This whole Pteranodon and pterosaur sequence is so much better than what we got in part three. I never did care much for that sequence. I never thought it was all that exciting in part
Mhm.
three. It'd be funny if they started picking up the kids. It's
Hmm.
like PG-13, but we're gonna have the pterosaurs eat the kids here.
Coach. Look at my
I
heroic
must leave the
shot.
island myself. He is Vincent D'Onofrio. They stopped to watch. Oh, they did. What'd you think was gonna happen? Pterosaur, the IMAX experience. Is that a little ironic?
Don't make yourself stand out.
Yeah, I would be hiding like, in the door of a restaurant or under a table, or behind a bench, trying to protect myself a little bit. I just want to give you a smoochie. I don't know if I ever said this before in our commentaries up to this point, but I have to say I love the dino designs of the entire Jurassic Park, Jurassic World series. I dig it.
I bet.
At some point, we're going to have to watch this movie again and actually have a discussion on it.
Nah, I'm good.
That'd be funny then if a pteranodon came down and swept both of them up and like cut them in half.
Yeah.
And then they run over to the top half of Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt's like, credits roll.
All right, boys. Here's what we're gonna do. See?
That'd be funny once the elevator opened if he said something really stupid like, "All right, I'm Mel Gibson. Pretend you're Danny Glover. This is Lethal Weapon 2."
Black Hawk helicopter.
Well, that's another one of those series I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about buying certain sets at Walmart. I got the whole Lethal Weapon quadrilogy. Still have yet to watch that too.
I've only seen bits of it. Of
I
one
think
of
I
those
heard. I
movies.
think the fourth one is awful. I think is what I've heard. The third one is meh. Second one's okay. First one's really good. That's what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
The Pteranodon did that?
No, it's just a
The
lot of
Pteranodon
people.
actually, I think, was hovering there. That's impossible. The
It's
Pteranodon
just
can't
it's just a
hover.
lot of people that were pushing the door.
Yeah, I know. But that Pteranodon, I think, was hovering. It
Yeah.
can't do that. The only animal that can do that that flies is the hummingbird.
Boy, it got dark pretty quick.
3 hours later. That'd be funny if they had a running tally of the body count at the bottom of the screen 3 hours later and they add on like 400 more bodies.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if they crash through and just decide to run him over. I'd be all right with that. Although, again, I think there's a blood splatter when he gets killed by Blue later, so I think that's better. That's pretty good too. It was a good smack.
A big old bitch slap.
I wouldn't have given him one slap. I would have just started beating the living crap out of him. Because again, like I said, I'm such an animal lover. I'd just be pounding the piss out of him. Be like, you leave my dinosaurs alone. Be like, I don't care about the news, dude. I want to get out of here alive and try to save as many people as possible. I don't care how it's done, but you're not going to use my animals to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad that the three other raptors end up getting killed. But I guess it was to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like rips off his clothes and goes into a Magic Mike dance, like, and then I'm the alpha baby.
Sure.
It's sung to the rhythm of Inagata Davida.
God. Boy, that was awkward.
I never realized it at the time that this movie came out, but she's the daughter, one of the daughters of Ron Howard.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that for a while.
I'm like, yeah, good job, Ron. That'd be interesting. Like, you have another subplot here where the older brother has PTSD and we don't know it until, like, you start seeing something weird happening in his eyes. And he starts to slowly choke his younger brother, and then he bashes, like, his younger
God.
brother's head, like, on the, the back of his head against the wall there. And then just starts being like, this is all your fault. And then, like, just starts
Like
beating the living
doing a
crap out of him.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Sort of, but like he has PTSD because of what they've been through. I mean, there's so many different subplots you could have with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have what? How many different IPs in one? Meeting Jurassic World.
Well, we've
And
named
then we were
quite a
talking
few of
about,
them.
yeah. And then we were talking. What was the other thing that we were talking about earlier? That was really a good idea too. Like, ah, crap. Now I'm sure someone else will rewind and remember it. And you know what? We need to stop the podcast now and rewind and trademark that before someone else does.
Oh, it's probably already too late.
To whom it may concern, stop it.
You cannot stop the inevitable.
You know, being a cat guardian, I see certain animals in movies, and I think sometimes, like, okay, this is my female cat. Okay, this is my male cat. Like, it's like
Hmm.
I look at them, like these velociraptors right here remind me of my little female. No, I know Blue's female, but like, are the other ones? Because obviously one is named Charlie. I'm assuming all the other three are male.
I have no idea.
Because I know there was that whole thing during the Jurassic Park trilogy, especially in the first one, where all the dinosaurs were initially bred as female, but then there was something about lysine and how eventually, after the whole breakout and with time, the dinosaurs were able to overcome that lysine deficiency or whatever it was and ended up having genders. Okay, we got to go back and rewatch all three movies.
I'm guessing like it spreads out too thin over time.
Yeah, with time, I think it wears off in some, and then you end up developing the genders.
I want you to look at my porn.
You're such a mom. This I always found to be an interesting sequence too. So
Hmm.
we have to okay. So we've established that its base genome is T Rex. Cuttlefish is a part of it too. And I think we've established with this scene that it's got some raptor DNA in it as well.
Hmm.
I think too because you got the little horns over each eye. There's got to be Carnotaur DNA in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. And then it looks up. It's kind of like, yeah, I got them under my power. I'm not afraid of you. I'm in control here. I will tell you though that Indominus can really pack a punch. Well, not pack a punch, but take a punch. It can pack a punch too, but that's not what I was initially trying to say. I love this movie so much. Like, I'm having such a good time with this.
Yeah.
How many predators are in this jungle?
100,000.
Movie series like that is something we should consider, like down the road.
Mm.
The 5 Predator movies, or is it 4? Let's see. Predators, it's only 4, not counting the AVP ones. Oh my gosh, you see the guy's face there
Yeah.
on the monitor?
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, this one gets blown up here. Spoiler. Oh, man, that saddens me. Chris Pratt, I don't know. I mean, I guess he has said some things in recent months that have turned some people off to him. And look, I don't always agree with some of the things he says and believes either, but I think he's a tremendous actor. I
I
think he's
like him.
very talented. I think he's very good.
Like I said, I like him.
I think although I haven't seen part 3, I don't think the Guardian movies they're fine. I don't think they're spectacular, but
Yeah.
Again, horror. I like this. Out of all the Jurassic movies, this movie definitely has more of that horror element in play. Although J.A. Bayona, the director of Fallen Kingdom, comes from horror, and that one definitely teases it and plays with it a little bit too. But I think this movie does it better.
Hmm. I stabbeth thee.
Moby Dick. From the hearts of hell, I stabbeth thee. And then he stabs it, but then he gets tangled up in the rope and ends up drowning. It's like, okay, Ahab. Get to the chopper. And then Arnold swings in. I still need to watch his Foo Bar series. He's not in a hurry.
Nope.
I only created arguably the most dangerous dinosaur to ever live. I'm not in a hurry. I tell him to go eat a chicken wing.
Like, I wish I would have never come here.
Oh, that was peanut butter there.
What?
The kid earlier. Remember, like when they showed the baby dino petting zoo, the redheaded kid, and I called him peanut butter.
Oh.
There's no peanut butter there. His hair looked like peanut butter. That's why I called him that.
Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
Okay, another podcast. That was a fun scene. I do like that.
Sure, sure you did.
I know I'm getting ahead of us here a little bit, but I had made a Facebook post about it however many years ago, and I said should make a T-shirt of it because I've never seen anyone else make it. But make a T-shirt that says "Open Paddock 9." Like that would be awesome.
Well, nothing's stopping you. I could just go on custom make and just make the tea yourself.
I should open Paddock 9, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Do it. Do it
When we
now.
get to it, I have more to expound upon that when we get to that scene. It's very stereotypical looking, obviously the spines and stuff in some type of preservative bubbly liquid,
and then
but I still love
and then
it.
like couple things with lizards.
Yeah, it's very stereotypical of a mad scientist sci-fi deal.
Yeah.
Albino snakes. One of my favorite scenes is coming up. This whole movie could be considered a favorite scene. And that will happen in part 2. Or part 5 if you're wanting to get technical.
Oh. Trying to be all smart, eh?
I'm just trying to cover bases. That would be funny if they had a fart noise when that happened from him. Like he got so scared, like he farted, if not pooped himself. Yeah, it understands English. I mean, it does a little bit, but not your English. Doesn't speak Kentucky Fried Chicken. I love that. Yes, I was right. That was a smart thing there.
Yeah. Like something on the fly that you wouldn't even really
The
think about.
unfortunate, yeah, the unfortunate thing though is we're coming right to the end here.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I was saying uh, earlier before we started that I didn't even realize that this was just a little over 2 hours. I thought it was about 2.5 hours.
No, that's Dominion. The extended edition's like 245 ish. All right, so I want to talk about it while we have a little bit of a moment here. The moment Claire goes to get the T Rex, I still remember with absolute vividness when I was watching this in the theater. The door opened up and you start seeing the T Rex eyes as it's walking towards her. I could feel my heart beating hard in my chest. I'm like, yes, but at the same time, I was so afraid they were gonna kill the T Rex as well. Like, I'm not joking when I say that my eyes were welling up because I was like, please don't kill the T Rex, and yes, please let the T Rex kill this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I just was so excited to see the T Rex.
Mm-hmm. That's one big ass mosquito.
They probably did grow to that size back in the Precambrian era.
I
I've
would
seen
hate to.
that were like 12 or so feet long.
I would hate to live in that period.
Yeah, it was the period of like giant insects. It was all about the predatory insects. It was either Precambrian or was maybe even the era right before that one.
Wasn't that? Is it 300 million years ago or?
Yeah, like giant insects more or less were the first giant complex life forms on land.
Yum, grilled raptor.
Oh, that saddens me. You're playing with my emotions, movie. Here we go.
Open Paddock 9.
Yeah. The build up to this is still incredible. Again, I've seen this movie so many times and I still get pumped with this. It's like the training montage in Rocky 4. Like it never gets old. This is incredible. This is what we all wanted. Yeah. The Spinosaurus skeleton, the T Rex is going to crash through. Some speculate that was the Spinosaur from part three. I don't know if that's ever been confirmed or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, "Oh, you can't walk, run in those heels." I'm like, "Whatever, shut up. That's not
Well,
what the movie's
still,
about."
it's like I don't know how she can afford to outrun T Rex.
It probably is takes might take it a while to warm up. This is incredible. This is what we should have gotten in Dominion. I love the Indominus, but it's like my first love is T Rex. You're never gonna.
It's
Well,
always kind of fun just seeing both the T Rex and the Raptor teaming up on the
yeah.
Indominus Rex.
I remember I was quietly to myself, like cheering on. I'm like, yeah, kill it. Like, I'm like, kill the thing. That thing is all battered and bloody. He threw the Indominus into like two or three buildings and it's all battered.
Mm. And then you have that coming into play at the end.
That just adds insult to injury. It's like 3-on-1. It's a handicap match. I wouldn't blame the T Rex. I mean, I just got my butt kicked a little bit. Do I want to continue fighting? No.
Yeah.
Open paddock 9.
You should see. You should go to um, a domain site and check to see if openpaddock9.com is available.
But what would I make the website about?
Just have it blur out loud, Open Paddock 9, and then have all the merch.
Okay, so Open Paddock 9 comes up in Google search results, and of course, it's a number of YouTube videos related to that movie here. Open Paddock 9 achievement in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Come on, the people are stealing my ideas. Oh, wait a minute. No, don't tell me.
What?
Okay, no. I thought someone maybe stole my idea and made merch out of it. Let me take a look under shopping. Does someone have anything? They did! Come on! You know what?
Here, I wanna go to GoDaddy.com
Yes.
here.
I mean, the shirt someone made is pretty lame, but nevertheless, they took my idea.
Did they do in the Jurassic Park font?
Of course they did.
Of course. What the hell? Why is this all fucking German here? I don't want German. Damn it. Seriously.
We get our favorite character here. The real king.
Oh, what am I doing? Open Paddock 9. And that's it.
That is Jurassic World. All right, we back on here.
Give me one moment here. There we are.
Still looking up Open Paddock 9.
Yeah, for some reason it's like showing German language on the site, which is weird.
That's weird. Maybe
But
because
anyways.
paddock is a German word. But yeah, I mean, that's Jurassic World. Like I stated at the beginning of this podcast, this is maybe potentially my favorite out of the entire Jurassic Park, Jurassic World series. Fallen Kingdom, whenever we get around to that, I think is pretty good. But I really love this movie. Incredible action. I think in many ways it continues the philosophical debate that started in part one, briefly touched upon in parts two and three, but I think it continued to be expanded upon with this movie, and then I think it even continues into the following two films as well, with Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. It's incredible, and I love the T-Rex Indominus fight at the end. This is, to me, an incredibly entertaining movie. Yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, um, but I find it to be entertaining. It's one of my, potentially even my favorite dinosaur movie of all time. It's incredible. I mean, I give it the highest of recommends. I enjoy Jurassic World.
Yeah, it's really good compared to the three previous films that we've commentated on in the past. It's, I mean, much better as far as the action, characters. I would say the story, obviously visual effects. I mean, it gets improved on over the years. So, um,
I
but
thought it was
yeah,
the other way. They don't improve as timing.
yeah, but yeah, it's. I mean, it's much better compared to the previous three, and from what they've done in the past. Although, like I mentioned, that it's still sort of contained in this first one, but it still seems that they've at least expanded more as far as, obviously adding more dinosaurs and then adding more tension uh, to everything, and then kind of the more the horror type of feel to it compared to the other three. And instead of just focusing on one dinosaur, you got multiple other kinds of threats in play. Whereas in the first one, you just had the T Rex and then Velociraptors, whereas this one you had many other dinosaurs to name off of in that regard. So yeah, this at least this one it touches more on anything, even compared to all the three previous films combined, for that matter. So yeah, with Jurassic World, it does you know opens up more things, even though it kind of sort of contains within on this island like the others did, but expands. So yeah, with this one, I definitely would at least recommend.
Yeah. And so, with that, just a quick reminder, this will be our only podcast for the month of July. We will return August 12th. Um, for anyone who missed our previous podcast here a couple weeks back, we had mentioned that what we're going to end up doing starting about August 12th is we're going to focus exclusively on Spectre Man for a number of consecutive weekends. So it's
So
something we
weekly
haven't done in
podcast.
like 11, 12 or so years. We're going to end up having back to back to back to back, weekends covering Spectre Man. We're not exactly sure if we're going to continue the 3 episode coverage or if we're going to expand that to no more than 5. That's something we'll discuss in the weeks ahead. But we will be back August 12th. We're going to cover Spectre Man, and every week after that for who knows how many weeks until we conclude that series. And then I think we're going to do probably something similar with Common Rider
Hmm.
after that. And then, of course, eventually we will have our year end episode at December. Who knows? We may even sprinkle in a commentary here and there before the end of the year just to kind of give us a break, perhaps. Time will tell. So that's kind of what we're looking at in general moving forward. So, only podcast for this month. We will return August 12th with more Spectre Man.
Hmm. And so with that, if you're still watching this on YouTube, if you see the subscribe button down below this video, make sure to hit that if you like what you're seeing and the like, and make sure to smash that like button. And you can follow us everywhere. All you can find everything Daikaiju Network related all on one page. You can see on your screen there over at linktree/Daikaiju Network. And not only we're on YouTube, but we're also on Twitch, Rumble, Facebook, and as well as Odyssey. And we have audio versions of our episodes available over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, as well as TuneIn. And you can find both video and audio versions of our episodes at our own website at daikaijunetwork.com.
All right. So, with that, thank you so much for joining us with this commentary. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in a little over a month.
All right. I'll see you guys next time.